This week, Europe's finance ministers hold their breath as they await the result of a vote in the Greek Parliament on its new austerity programme. EU heads of state and government meeting in Brussels last week reiterated that cross-party support for the new programme is crucial if Greece wants to receive its next slot of bailout money. And it was the support of national parliaments for long-term economic reform across the EU that was emphasised at a high-level summit here at the European Parliament. Meeting at their 14th summit to date, the chairman of EPP parliamentary groups in national parliaments joined European EPP leaders for a meeting hosted by Portuguese MEP Paulo Rangel, who was responsible for the EPP Group's relations with national parliaments. Under discussion, the results of a summit of EU leaders in Brussels the previous week, and in particular, the first exercise of coordination of national budgets carried out at EU level, as part of new governance rules implemented to prevent renewed economic crisis. I asked the chairman of the Budget Committee in the European Parliament, Alain Lamassoure, how he felt this first round of budget consultations had gone.
Je crois que l'expérience montre que nous avons absolument besoin.
I think the experience has shown us that we now absolutely need to coordinate our budgetary policies. And the first year has demonstrated that coordination between prime ministers and finance ministers is good, but it is not enough. There must also be coordination between national parliaments.
Member states have in the past been reluctant to cede any control over their budget policies to the EU. But the difficult economic situation has, more than ever, made EU governments acutely aware of the interdependence of their economies, as Commission President José Manuel Barroso told representatives from parliaments across the EU.
I can tell you that in all the time I spent in the European Council for many years now, that was the most sincere and open discussion ever in terms of economic interdependence between member states. Because the governments, the heads of state and government, were not discussing only what we can do at European level, but in which way what they are doing at national level can have or not an impact on others and the benefits of cooperating.
But it is not just the adjustment of national budgets to meet common objectives that is needed to guarantee Europe's competitiveness and create new jobs. The chairman of the EPP Group, Joseph Daul, said his message to national parliaments was that, in addition to reducing deficits, money must be invested in Europe's future, and that pooling resources in a joint EU budget was a much more cost-effective way of doing that.
We must recognise the effects of the crisis in each of our countries, but we must also recognise, and this is something I say often, that €1 invested in Europe for research, innovation, for food security, energy security is a real euro. It hasn't already been largely consumed by deficits.
This was also reflected by Mr. Barroso, who stressed that money going into the EU budget was not for funding the administration of EU institutions.
In short, this will not be a budget for Brussels, and I want to highlight this because we have to win this debate. Less than 6% of the total budget is spent in administration. All the rest is money for the regions, for the workers, for the farmers, for Europeans in general.
The Commission will present its proposal for the EU's next long-term budget framework on Wednesday and will be looking for recognition from national parliaments that investing in a joint future is an important solution to the crisis, as well as saving member states money overall. We'll be bringing you more news then. Thanks for watching.